Hello, hello, Canadian Sasquatch here with another Homebrew Wednesday. So, guess I should start this off with a homebrew. Got one. This is my chocolate cherry imperial stout that I brewed up back in June. This is going to be the first time I crack one open, so... Oh, it's carved. And it's ready to go. Over the sink. It is overcarved. Holy crap. That's pretty spectacular. So, yeah, this was the chocolate cherry stout that I did. And it just keeps coming out. I learned a very valuable lesson with this guy. I'm learning another one right now. That before making additions, always taste how things are, because I racked it onto the cocoa nibs for the chocolate part, and so I did that, and then I racked it off of that, and I poured myself a sample. But before I tasted the sample, I used cherry juice. I used both tart and black cherry juice, and put those into the tertiary so that I could get the cherry flavor that I was looking for. And well, then I tasted this before the cherry juice was in, and holy crap, it tasted real good as it was. I'm like, the cherry juice probably screwed it up. And when I tasted it when I was bottling, it wasn't horrible, but it wasn't as good as that first tasting. If any of you have ever had Oscar Blues 1050, that's what this tasted like before I added the cherry juice. It was really good. Damn. So there's two possibilities for this. One, I really did overcarb it. Two, it's only been in the fridge for a couple of hours because I was too anxious to give it a try. To put it in the fridge for longer than it should. So, well, I'm just gonna put that down there. So yeah, so this is it. It is it's black with right down here towards the bottom of the glass you can just see a tinge of like a ruby red, but aside from that it's black. The head is, well, the head's tan colored. Lots of roasty and caramel flavors or aromas. I'm getting some of the chocolate. I don't get any cherry at all, so I'll give it a taste here. So cheers, everybody. So I'm getting all the roasted flavors. I'm getting like the cherry bite, not necessarily the cherry flavor, but when you have cherry juice, you get that little bite in the back of your throat from it. Getting a little bit of that. Some dark caramel toffee-like. Getting very little alcohol aroma or in the taste, which it is, what was it? I think it's 12.0 around 12.5% ABV. So it's up there. Got a brew cap down here. So yeah, so that's my chocolate cherry stout. It's not what I was hoping for. It is better than when I first bottled it. I will probably let this age quite a bit longer before I try it again. Just see if I can't get some of the sharpness to mellow out, but I am not unpleased with that. That's tasty, and it will be very, very tasty. So yeah. So there's that. What else is going on? So it's Homebrew Wednesday, but it's on a Thursday, and it is a beverage maintenance night for me. So I will be going through a bunch of different beverages and racking and getting them ready for their next stages. I got a bunch of mead that I need to rack into. Some of them are going into their 4th or 5th rackings. And then I got the pineapple upside down beer I need to check up on. My rye barley wine Braggot that I got going on, I need to check in on that and do a racking of that. So I figured I'd bring you guys along and show you what I do as I go through it all to see what everything is. So this is probably going to be a very long video, and yeah, so cheers and sit back and enjoy the show. And be sure to have a pint of Boston, because I know I will as soon as this one's done foaming everywhere. Cheers. Oh, that's good stuff. Yes, I know. This is Brewcat. This is one of the Brewcats. Say hi, Isabel. So yeah, here we are. First task of the night is... Oh look, cranberry. Cranberry honey. I'm making some more the traditional cranberry mead. Because I figure I may not have enough as it is. So I'm gonna make up another... Basically this is a 2/3 batch of what I already have. Of what I made. So if you want to see how to make it, go back to my I have a video from earlier in the year on how to make a mead. It explains everything on what I'm doing. I'm just basically doing it in 2/3 of that recipe pretty much exactly. So I got like 2 jars of honey, got my water, sanitizer, teapot, got the yeast chilling out in here. I'm just using a full pack, no need to scale the yeast back. That'll just help it ferment that much quicker, sooner, so I can get to the blending. But yeah, so that's the first task. I just figured I'd fire up the can here and give you guys a show. I will probably bring more out or show more video once I'm closer to being done this as well. So cheers. Alright, so there it is. That's the majority of it. Ooh, there's the yeast with the Go Firm. Again, go back, check my other video on how to do this. See if I can video and pour at the same time here. Oh, not too bad. Some of that's yeast, some of that's unused or Go Firm that's not been cleaned up well or mixed up well. This is just a little bit more water. Actually, what I'm going to do is pour it back into this guy because it's easier to pour out of that. This guy can go into the sink. And there it goes. So that's that. Put your guys back up here so you can. I don't know what you can see. That's fine. And now we shake the bejesus out of it. I've been doing this between every edition. The DAP, the Fermento, potassium bicarbonate, the honey, the water, the warm water for getting the honey out of the jars. Do a quick wash here. Quick dry. So there it is. So it's 2/3 of a gallon, essentially. And of course I got my guy here, put him in, put him in. This is just Star San and the squirt bottle. I just use Star San for my airlocks. It's quick, it's easy, I always have some on hand. So there, so that's the first item done. So now it's on to the other chores. I got a list someplace here that I need to get at, and oh, it's right here. So yeah, I got 9 items. So the first one's done. Cheers. So here we have my blackberry wine. So I've racked this multiple times. This last time I did potassium sulfate and some potassium sorbate. This camera sucks, so that doesn't show up. Because last time I did it, it grew a bunch of fir. And as you can see, we have another pectile. It's got some kind of skin on top again. So the other thing that I did when I racked it was I racked part of it into this guy because, well, you can see all the sludge on the bottom here with about 1/3 of a gallon of the stuff of the blackberry wine. So this wine that I did, my beautiful bride and I, we went and we actually picked 30 pounds of blackberries to do this. So this is the 30 pounds of blackberries. So what I'm going to do now with it is I'm going to combine the so I'm going to rack this and that into this guy, just a plastic 6.5 gallon carboy, so I can wash this guy really well and then rack it back, because I don't like using this guy for storage. He's just what I use for when I don't have enough stuff to rack into. Like I only have one of these guys, so I rack everything out of this into that guy, and then I rack it back in once it's clean, so I have a clean racking, and it's good to go. I don't worry too much about oxidization when I do it because I'm fairly careful, and especially with this one because the potassium metabisulfate and sorbate, they help with the oxidization issues. They help protect against them a little bit. And you're looking the wrong way, maybe. So yeah, so that's now I'm out of camera again. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing now. But for this one, I'm going to try this new one. It is Stone's Coffee Milk Stout. And I'm not a huge fan of coffee, but I'm always willing to try. Some of them are okay. I'm getting, out of the bottle, I'm getting very faint coffee, so I did wash my glass after my tasty beverage I had, my chocolate cherry stout. So this is my Buffalo Bayou brewery sniffer that we got when we went there one day. So it actually holds a 16 ounces, so that's not a problem. It's nice. So yeah, so this is quite dark. Very dark. It's, yeah, I can't see through it at all. I get very faint coffee on it. I'm getting something else. I don't know what that is. Oh, it's the, I'm getting the lactose, the milk sugars. I'm definitely picking those up in the aroma. Yeah, I'm getting the coffee and the lactose that they use. So, cheers, and we'll give it a bash. That's interesting. I'm definitely getting coffee. It's not overpowering. Like I said, I'm not a huge, I don't like coffee. But this is so faint that it's kind of pleasant to my palate. And then you got the smoothness from it being a milk stout. No bitter, no nothing. So yeah, so it's a Stone Coffee Milk Stout, ale brewed with roasted coffee beans. Specifically says, enjoy fresh, 4.2% ABV. Stone doing a session beer like that? What the hell? Everything they do is like usually 8 plus, but not this one. So yeah, a bittersweet, creamy coffee laced stout, and I didn't read that before. So yeah, it's laced. It's not punchy in the face, strong like so many of you like Founder's breakfast stout. I can't drink that one at all because that punches me in the face with coffee, and I just don't like that. But this is not too bad. I don't see myself really drinking much of this. I expect I'll have to drink at least 4 more bottles because it's a 6-pack. But if it had chocolate in it, so it was like more of a mocha, I could see myself actually drinking a lot of this. Just with the very hint of coffee. Nice carbonation level. It's bang on for the carbonation. It's a good one. It's a nice watery drink to drink in between my homebrews right now. So we will continue on this and continue on getting my blackberry wine racked. So the other plan is to add a bit more of the potassium guys to deal with the stuff that's growing. Actually, I wonder if I should maybe put this in a... Anyways, cutting it short here while I think of other stuff. So yeah, we are... Oh, there we are. Getting down there, you can see the that layer of stuff was it's just sticking to the sides. Changed my plan. I realized I probably had about 5 gallons worth of stuff after it was all said and done, and that's pretty much where I'm getting to. So I did have a 5-gallon carboy kicking around, so I'm going straight into that guy. Here's my mixture of the potassium sorbate and metabisulfite. I'm making another full strength batch just to try and get rid of everything. Oops. I'm pretty bad at that too, so we're getting to the point here. So yeah, it's getting there. It's gonna be pretty damn close. Cause that's getting full, and there's just a little bit down there. There is sludge on the bottom, so and I'm picking up some of the sludge. There we go. That's about all I really want out of there. You can see down there, sort of. Yeah, this camera pretty much sucks at that. So let me set you guys back up here while I quickly deal with this. Into the sink this one goes. And then, I don't know, can you guys, you definitely can't see what I'm doing in there, so this guy comes, so yeah, there's the 5-gallon carboy. That's pretty much perfect right there. Let me just adjust you guys just a tad here. Everything's crooked, but I don't care. So I'm just gonna put this stuff, pour this into here. So a little trick to get stuff to pour correctly is take a spoon and use that as a guide for the liquid, and it should just follow it more than the bowl itself, and there it goes. I don't know how well that shows up on the camera, but it works. So it doesn't follow the bowl and dump out the wrong side. And I don't worry too much about when I'm doing this, about sanitizing this stuff, because that is pretty much full strength sanitizer as it is. So not much can survive what I just did, since, well, I'm basically trying to sanitize this stuff. So the only thing I got left to do is airlock. Well, I should probably stir it up a bit, so I need to find a spoon. I forgot to grab a spoon. But I do have a sample here. So what I did with this was I already tried some, and it's very, very dry, since it's pretty much just the blackberry juice with a little bit of water and some honey. Not very much honey. So it pretty much fermented out completely dry. I don't know how dry. I don't know what the hydrometer reading is. I don't really do hydrometer readings for a lot of this until I'm bottling. Because I usually leave everything in secondary or tertiary or quaternary, or however many times I rack it. It gets racked on there for quite a while, and I know it is done when I go to bottle. So what I do is I save 6 ounces and do a spirit indication test to find out the ABV. Because with a lot of the stuff that I do, I don't really know, because I add stuff as I go through it, and I don't have the tools to measure things exactly as I do it. So yeah, I don't know what the gravity of it currently is. So I had a sample of this, and it was very dry. Tasted okay. There was a little bit, I don't know if I was tasting the moldiness or not, or if it was just because I knew it was there and there it was, or whatever. So I put a couple drops of honey into this, just to back sweeten it a little, and I've been stirring it around, so we will give this a try now. So I got a lot of the honey on the nose. I'm basically just using a wildflower honey, nothing in particular. I do plan on back sweetening most of this to the level that my beautiful bride and I prefer. So when I do that, I'll use a light honey, like most likely Wahila. That's my go-to honey for pretty much everything. So, and this is just store-bought wildflower. So we'll give it a bash here. So I do get the honey. I am getting blackberry flavor out of that. But I'm still just getting a little bit of hint of the moldy flavoring. I don't know what exactly, if that's just psychological or not at this point. We shall see once this guy is rested for another several weeks or months or however long I decide to let him rest for, and then we'll go from there. But definitely a lot better back sweetened, so I will definitely be doing that. So yeah, so that's the blackberry. I'm just gonna give it a stir and put a cap on it, and it's done. So I'll be cleaning up here, and we'll move on to the next one. Bonus footage. So yeah, garden stuff. So that's a sweet potato. We bought sweet potatoes, and one of them decided to sprout crazily in our kitchen. So we decided to plant it, and well, there it is. It's doing some crazy stuff. These did have Swiss chard, but there's one right there. But the squirrels and stuff are getting to it. Looks like the same is happening over here, although there is some Swiss chard right there. And those guys over there is mustard. Of course, I got my jalapenos. Lots of jalapenos still going. They're going strong. So you guys may have remembered there was tomatillos in there at one point. Well, those are well past done. And then of course I got my ghost chilies. Not ripe. Ripe. So I've picked three batches off of this guy so far. So he's going strong. So what I wanted to show you was this guy. This is where my spent grains go, and it's my composter. If you are squeamish, fast forward, because I have little friends in here that help process everything that goes in here. Basically it's black fly soldier maggots, and they don't really appear to be, they're moving there a little bit. So anyways, my blackberry sludge, I'm not wasting it. It's going into the compost. My little, the maggots in here just absolutely love that stuff. They also absolutely love the spent grains when I put them in. They multiply exponentially when I do that. It takes them about a week to process them. So yeah, so that's got a little bit of sludge left, and my battery's about to die on me, so I'm gonna toss this in the charger, and hopefully I can do some more videoing tonight. Cheers. Alright, no idea if this is working. So you guys just took a nice spill as I set you in place, and I'm pretty sure my hair is looking pretty funky. It's hard work doing all this various maintenance. So yeah, the blood orange mead. Like I said, I haven't had any of this in, it's been a long time. So I'm not really getting much of anything on the aroma. Oh, I'm starting to get some honey. I think I poured my glass a little too full. Like I said, it's a pint-sized glass. I'm using the same glass. I'm washing it in between. just a very light hint of citrus. So, well, let's give it a try. Cheers. It's nice and sweet, the sweetness that I prefer. So those of you that don't like sweet, you probably wouldn't like this. There's like a little hint of spice on it. Just very slight alcohol burn. You wouldn't know that this is 11%. Little bit of the orange peel. I did use orange peels in this from the blood oranges. It's got a nice body to it. Really quite enjoying this. It's much better than the last time I tried it. Much smoother. But that's what they say with mead. If you don't like it, wait a year. It'll change. It does change. It gets better and better with age. So yeah, that's the blood orange mead. So I guess I'm gonna do some more sanitizing here and get this thing racked, and hopefully my camera still works after the spill from the top of the fridge there, and ciao. Alright, so I got it racking. Going down in there. I do have some. It's quite cloudy and muddy still. This is the barley / rye wine braggot. So I call it that because it has it's basically a barley wine with rye in it. So it's a rye barley wine braggot. So I actually have the recipe right here. So it's 7.5 pounds of maris otter, 7.5 pounds of rye, and then a pound of crystal, and then a little bit of Caraphone melanoidin, special B, and of course rice hulls because of all that other stuff in there. So yeah, so make sure this is doing okay. So yeah, this is very yeasty still. I'm getting a lot of yeast, but then yeah, it's cloudy. So I'm using the yeast that I normally use for braggots, which is actually a wine yeast. It's got a threshold of around 16%. I don't know what the original gravity of this was. I did actually try to do it. I don't normally try and do it, but this time I did. But my refractometer only goes up to 1.135. Same with my hydrometers. This is after I added the honey to it. Do a quick check, make sure it's all good. It's all good. What do I have here? So the on my notes here, before I added the honey, the SG was 1.128, and that was based on the refractometer. So Yeah. So, and being a braggot and how I do braggots, it's I do the same amount of honey for the same amount of grains. So it was, what is it? It's 15, 16, 17 and a half, 18 pounds of grain. So there's 18 pounds of honey in this. So yeah, it's theoretical over 1.2 on the hydrometer reading. So switch my arms because my arm's getting heavy. So yeah, so it's going to be a ridiculously strong braggot. So it's, yeah, definitely a barley wine. So it starts off as a barley wine strength, and then I add the honey to it to make it a braggot, which adds even more to it, which the theoretical punch using iBrewmaster was 1, 2, 3, 9, I don't know, I'm just counting in my head, about 19 to 20% ABV. Of course, my yeast is only good for theoretical of 16. So when it comes time to carb this, I'm not sure what's going to happen. Since the yeast I'm using is only good for 16 and I got over 18%. So yeah, it could be something fierce. Could quite easily become overcarbonated. So I will need to keep an eye on this guy and just keep pushing it through. See what happens. Because I would normally use a champagne yeast on this. So that's good for 18% usually. So going from 16 to 18%, that's a big jump. That's extra foamy. Normally when you carbonate, you only get maybe 0.5% of jump. So yeah. So I'm just babbling. Let's give this guy another try. So I've got no idea at this point what the ABV is, but I'm not getting too much alcohol. There's a little bit in there. Getting the spiciness from the rye. The hops that I used Target and Bramlin Cross. So kind of an English barley wine to go with the Maris Otter. And then, yeah. My schedule for it is 2 weeks in primary. I'm already half a week behind schedule on that. And it's going to sit in close up. I'm going to sit in this guy for 2 weeks. I'm supposed to put my oak cubes in there, but there's still way too much going on in there. It's too cloudy, and I think it's still chugging away a little bit. So I'm just going to let it do its thing in here for a little bit, and then I'll probably rack it and then do my oak cubes. My oak cubes are actually these guys right here. So on the March 10th, I took 1/2 pound of organic tart cherries and added it to 750 milliliters of Torres 10-year-old brandy. So that's what all that is. And I just let that soak until April 26th, at which point I added 2 ounces of American medium toasted, medium plus toasted. So yeah, so that's that should give it an interesting flavor. Putting those oak cubes in, having soaked up everything, and I plan on letting them sit for at least a month on the oak cubes, and I'm just babbling, so I'm just going to cut it off here, and I'll come back in a bit when things are more done. Cheers. And we're back with the next one. So what I have here is GH4. So that's my grapefruit hydromel. So it is essentially my fourth batch of mead that I've ever done. The third being the grapefruit one, which I did sparkling. I'm going to do this one sparkling as well. So, but this is lower ABV. I had it cross chilling because there was a lot of sludge on the bottom of it when I went to bottle it, and there's quite a bit of sludge down there so I racked it, and there's a bunch of sludge on it still. So I'm gonna be racking it again. This is the cranberry stuff that I just did 3 hours ago, and it is, well, you can see the bubbles, well, sort of. It's not focusing because it doesn't autofocus, but you can see the bubbles up here. Yeah, that's because it's 3 hours later and it is doing its job. So the go firm and rehydrating everything and getting it all happy definitely works, because yeah, 3 hour lag time for the yeast to go from dry yeast. That's oh shit. You guys are going for a wild ride today. I'll probably be getting this up actually tomorrow, so that'd be Friday. So Homebrew Wednesday today, which is Thursday for yesterday, but probably up tomorrow. But anyways, so yeah, so it's bubbling. 3-ish hours later. Probably a little bit less than 3 hours, because it was after 4 and about 4:30 when I pitched the yeast, and it's 7:15. So yeah, that's not too bad. So yeah, so I'll be racking this into that guy, and we'll see what happens from there. I'm still drinking on the blood orange mead. Kind of swapped to water as well, because, well, I'm drinking a lot of high ABV stuff tonight, and it's time for some water. And for those of you who may have noticed this guy sitting in the corner and wondering, what the hell is that? My last brew day, I did up 5 gallons of Star San, and when I do, on my brew days, when I do make 5 gallons of Star San, I always use distilled water to make it so it lasts longer, because the Houston water sucks. So yeah, so I use distilled water, and it will last pretty much indefinitely at strength, so I don't ever have to worry about it losing its potency or anything. Using distilled water is pretty much the best way to do it if you're going to keep it for a long time, which my brew day wasn't that too long ago. It was 2.5 weeks ago, I think. So there's a tip for you. Use distilled water when you're making a big batch of Star San, and it will last until it's just plain old dirty. Like, I keep recycling it. So I go from here, I put it in the jugs, swirl it around, and then I put it into this bucket here, which is just a 2-gallon bucket that I use for fermenting as well. And when I'm done tonight, this will go back into there. And yeah, so until I actually need the 5-gallon carboy, which probably won't be for quite a while. So that's the other thing, is as long as I have a vessel to put it in, I store it. I may switch it over to some 1 gallon. I got a 3-gallon I'm not using. So anyways, I have a 5-gallon, I'm not using it, so I'm using it. I can save some of it in 1 gallon or a 3-gallon when I need the 5 gallons, so I can still keep some of it, and it pretty much keeps indefinitely since I'm using the distilled water, and it stays clear, and the pH level stays at the correct level for it to work. So tip for you guys, if you're still there. Cheers. So the grapefruit hydromel, which was in there, you can see the sludge, has been racked into here. It is pretty freaking clear. And I can hear you guys going, what the hell is a hydromel? Well, a hydromel is a mead that has been, it's kind of a watered down mead. I'm just walking over here to turn the radio down because, well, it's loud for this. So it's kind of a watered down mead. So it's like this one, I'd say anything kind of below 10% ABV would classify as a hydromel. Simply because there's more water and doesn't necessarily mean the flavor is less, although in this one it's grapefruit. And come back over here, you can see there's not much color to it. It is like a pale raw yellow. And I have no idea what the ABV on this is. I actually do have notes on this one, but they're on my computer, and I don't have that around. So, but it's very, very, very low. I think I would say this one's around 8%. So very low for a mead. I'm just going to rest my hand right here because it's tired. So little tasting of it, or first smelling of. I'm getting a lot of phenolic smells. I'm also getting some autolyzed yeast. So basically yeast that exploded and all the flavors became part of the mead. I'm getting some of that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, because I have found that they actually do age out. My grapefruit melomel, which this is the sister of, had that issue for the first 4 or 5 months after it was bottled, and then after that, that flavor and smell just went away. So not too worried about that at this point. But yeah, that's definitely there. So I'm getting the phenolic smell from the grapefruit rinds, because there was a lot of grapefruit rinds in these things. The yeast, the autolyzed yeast, so it's the dead yeast. So we'll take a taste. Cheers. So it's very much watered down, which hydromel, yes, that's how it should be. And I do get the phenolic on the autolyzed yeast. Just a slight hint of the grapefruit on the very back of my tongue, back of the throat. But I do plan on sweetening and carbonating this. When I do that, I will be sure to take a video of how I'm doing it, because it will be bottle conditioned. And normally most people think that you cannot do it, but I have seen and read on and did some research on how to do it, and I think I have a way to do it. So I will, when I go to do it, I will be sure to take video of all the steps and a lot of very good note taking when I do it, so that we can so I can share the knowledge to make, so if anybody else wanted to do something like this. The other easy way to do it is just if you have a kegging system, you can keg it and force carb it and then bottle it that way. I don't have a kegging system, so everything I do is bottle conditioned. So yeah, but with a little bit of sweetness. This will be a very, very good summer drink. And unfortunately, it is coming upon winter. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it, of course it's been in the jug there for, well, I made it January of 2013, so we're going on almost 2 years of it, just bulk aging. And usually with the hydromels, they finish a lot faster, but I've just been lazy, so that's my excuse. That's the great thing about making mead, is just be lazy, and it turns out great in the end because time is your friend. So yeah, so now it's time to clean up this mess, and it is 7:30. It may be 8 o'clock by the time I'm done with that, so I might have time for one more, so we'll see. If there's nothing after this, then I didn't do anything. I got lazy. Cheers. So this time, what we're doing, well, what we already did was many months ago, my beautiful bride wanted to do a wine kit, because I did a wine kit, I did a Riesling, and she wasn't too much fond of it, and I enjoyed it. My mother really enjoyed it. She drank about 4 gallons of the 6-gallon kit in about 2 weeks. So that's a good sign right there. So anyways, so she picked out a white Merlot kit. So her and I went through each step together, and it was a lot of fun working with her, going through the steps and getting everything done and all that. And it was a 6-gallon kit, and so what I decided to do was to take a gallon of the kit and put it into this little carboy right here. And I don't know if you can really see them. They're there. So I got oak cubes in there. So they're American medium plus oak cubes, medium plus toasted oak cubes. So, because I have a bunch of them. I bought like I think I bought like a pound of them, and you only need like between 2 and 4 ounces per batch, depending on what it is. And so anyway, so I decided to, hey, let's put some of this on oak to see what happens. So there they are. I just wrapped it into this guy, and we got this one. And you can see how clear it is. So that's not a problem. So this is, that's my hand up here again. Don't have you on the tripod because I keep taking the battery out to put it on the charger. So, so you saw how clear it was. So I do get the oak from the aroma. The base wine it's tasting very, very well at this point. Both my beautiful bride and I really enjoy the white Merlot as is. This was just an experiment to see what happens when you oak it, and I got lazy, and it's been on the oak for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, when it should have only been on for 1 or 2. So it could be overly oaked, or it could be really good. I don't know. So, but I do smell the oak on the aroma. I do smell the base Merlot, so I get the fruitiness of the grapes and all that. So let's give it a try. So so you definitely get the oak flavoring from it, which I'm not actually a huge fan of oak. Sometimes it's done very, very well. I'm going to say that this is done well. Not very, very well, but it's done well. Definitely get the little bit of the charring from the oak. The tannins are definitely in there, so they're getting the astringency from the tannins, so it's a little bit puckering, so it makes you want to drink more, and you have a glass full, so you just want to keep drinking it. I would say that this is pretty much a success, and after a couple more weeks of it just sitting in where I racked it, I think it's going to be ready to bottle as is. I don't have to do anything else to it. No findings, no nothing. Yeah, that there's a success. And I am actually going to save this a little bit for my beautiful bride so she can give it a whirl. I haven't saved any of the other stuff for her because nothing's been all that worthy for her to try at this point. Although this one is pretty good. I'm still drinking on the same glass of blood mead, or blood orange mead. I'll put a topper on the bottle. I'm done with that bottle. So yeah, so that's that. And the mead that I created earlier is bubbling away. So I just gotta clean up this mess now and check this one off my list. So I had 9 items on my list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 items done. Of course, one of them is just rack others, which is 4 or 5 1-gallon carboys. I'm just babbling again. Pretty sure nobody's still watching at this point. If anybody is still watching at this point, write 37 in the comments, and I'll know that you've watched to this point. Cheers. Holy crap, will these little cut scenes ever quit? I don't know. So what we have here is this guy right here is the peach Melamo that I started last June or July of 2013. And for those of you just joining, it is October 2014, so it's well over a year since I started this one. And we'll go back to my perch here where I can rest my hand on the fridge. We have the a sample here, which is, again, pretty much crystal clear. I just racked it off of this sludge down here. What does this look like? Does that look like anything? Yeah, it's black down there. So yeah, there's a little bit of sludge, a little bit of it went into here. I will probably let it sit until I'm not lazy again, and at which point I will probably actually bottle this. So this is my sample. I've not tried it. I haven't even really smelled it. There's no real aroma coming off of it. It's not carbonated, so it's not wafting everywhere. So I'm gonna give it a swirl. Well, I get alcohol off of this one. I get alcohol and honey. And peach fuzz. Which is interesting because I don't think I actually put any of the peach peel into this. I think I peeled it and pitted everything before I actually peeled everything, and I peeled and pitted everything and then froze it. So I don't think there's actually any peach fuzz in here, but it smells like it. So the interesting thing about this one was last time I racked it was when I did it out of the fermentation bucket that I was using, which had the peaches and all that. And so I'm doing, these are 3-gallon carboys, and I had a little bit too much to go into another one of these, but I happen to have a half-gallon carboy, a half-gallon jug that was full of honey at one point, and it still had like maybe about a ½ inch of honey on the bottom of it, and I needed something ASAP, so I grabbed that and racked on top of that, and I actually bottled that one before I did anything else. So I got like 4 bottles out of that, and the first time we tried it, it was not very good. It was very, very dry, which was weird because I thought I had set this up so that it would not be able to ferment anymore, but no, it fermented the hell out of the honey that was in there, so it became very, very dry. So that, I tried that, it was probably at the beginning of this year, so 6-7 months after I had started the process. About a week ago, we actually cracked open a little bottle of it, and as with all meads, if you don't like it, wait a year and it'll taste better. And 6 months later, it was tasting very, very well. So let's see how this one tastes. Again, it's alcohol, peach fuzz, and honey on the nose. It's very thin, a lot of alcohol, quite a bit of tannins. I'm getting, it's very astringent from the tannins. I don't know where the tannins came from on this, unless they're just in the peaches naturally, since I didn't put the pits in there and there's no oak or anything, so I'm not sure where that puckering comes from. But it's there. Getting a bit of smoky character as well, which is very, very odd. Again, I haven't added anything to this. This is just peaches, water, honey, nutrients, and yeast. So I'm not sure, but there is a smoky effect there. A little bit of nail polish or paint thinner as well, so there's some bad flavors in there. So with that, I am probably just going to let this sit in this carboy for another really long time because it is not ready. So this guy here, it's the peaches from over a year ago with, I believe, well, it's Wahila honey, peaches from Texas, and it's actually some of the best peaches in Texas that I've had, so, which is saying a lot because I grew up in an area that is, the peaches you cannot beat where I grew up. At least any place in the U.S., California here, Washington. I don't know where else grows, Georgia. I haven't had Georgia peaches, but yeah. From where I grew up, I've never had a peach that tastes as good as that, and I can't eat peaches out of the grocery store. So So yeah, we'll probably let this sit for another 6 months before anything happens to it again. Just try and let everything settle out. So I'm gonna wash my pellet out and rehydrate. Oh, it's not the blood orange mead. Rehydrating with Guinness. Can't go wrong with a Guinness. This is the Guinness out of a can with the little nitrogen widget. Not quite as tasty as the Guinness I had when I poured it myself at the Guinness storehouse in Ireland. Just slightly over a month ago. But it's not bad. Not bad. It's Guinness. It's always Guinness. So yeah, this will probably be the last one that I do tonight. I'm tired. It's 8:30, which means it's 30 minutes past my bedtime. Yeah, I'm one of those people. Go to bed at 8, but then I wake up at 3:45 a.m. So cheers to everybody out there. If you've watched it this long, how many times have I said 37? Twice. And thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for liking. We'll see you in the next one. I don't know when that will be. This happened to be a opportune moment to just go through a bunch of my meads, braggots. I didn't even get to my pineapple upside down beer because it's still fermenting, which surprised me. But so I still have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Still have like 10 gallons of mead. 3 gallon and 7 1-gallons to rack and such. So maybe one day next week, next weekend. This weekend's full. Yeah. Cheers. Be sure to have a pint of awesome. I know I will. Beyond the pint of Guinness that I'm drinking.